Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear on this Friday morning. Everybody's getting ready for a big weekend. The rain has gotten on out of here. We're just in a little summer pattern now, so our ground's still wet, but it looks like a really good weekend to be in the outdoors. So we'll get started with it with a good show today, a good fishing report coming up, and I'll get you all set up for a great weekend in outdoors. Weather always brought to us by Haney, and Gail put me a little note on here. Don't forget Haney's next GED class. That's a big deal now. Starts September the 13th, and registration is September 10th, which is Monday for so the next GED class is important. A lot of folks take advantage of that. High today is all the way up to 87, low 72. And yes, the water temperature stayed the same way it was yesterday, 81.5. So that little cool snap. I was trying to think about it last night, figuring out why it was cool. You would think when the storm comes through with that clock, that counterclockwise motion, it would bring in warm water from the southern part of the Gulf and actually heat things up. But my theory, and I'm not a meteorologist, but I did sleep in a Holiday Inn one night. So what happened, I think it's churned the water up and maybe moved some of that bottom water in currents and all. They got some of that cooler water on the bottom and came up here in this part of the Gulf right now. So that's my theory on it. That's not factual, but if you got a better thought on it, let me know and I'll share that. So anyway, we'll see if it sort of stays cool or warms back up next week. Let's move on with our river readings. The Apalachicola to Bluntstown, 4.5 and steady. It's going to be steady all weekend. Very good situation on the Apalachicola River and its tributaries. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville, as we said, it's going to be rising. It's at a 6.5 right now, going up a little bit more, and it's going to be a little bit high, but you can get on up in those sloughs, and we'll talk a little bit later on about the freshwater fly fishing is really getting good this time of late summer and early fall. And don't forget now, everybody saying fall is here. It's not officially fall until September 22nd. We've got about 2 more weeks of summer, and fall hits here on September the 22nd. All right, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Talked about it all week long. What a great tide movement we have. High tide is exactly at 8 o'clock this morning and a low tide at 6:19. So it's going out all day long. The winds are not much of a wind, a little bit out of the east. They're going to swing around to the north about 3 to 5, so not much of a factor today. All right, let's take our break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. When I say I'm glad you're with us, I always mean that. I really enjoy doing this show. I enjoy the feedback we get, and it's just we got a good situation here with Panhandle Outdoors throughout the Panhandle, so I appreciate it. Appreciate the sponsorship and advertisers and all that. So let's move on with some pictures I got right here. I've showed this picture before, but I got a call from, I only called out one of the boys' name. I called out Brandon Cutchins because I called out Brandon Barfield because his girlfriend sent me the picture, but we forgot to call out the other name, Brandon Cutchins, okay? So that's Brandon Barfield and Brandon Cutchins got that big gator. Jerry Cutchins called me, he was telling me about it. That gator, they actually got it, that's a boat they got it in, and that gator looks about as long as a boat. Now that, it's tough getting a big gator, but in a boat like that, that had to have been a challenge. And here's the picture. I don't know if you know, see how big that claw is on top of the head? All right. So anyway, that was the big gator that got this past week. All right, next picture, talking about getting back on the seashore. This picture demonstrates the difference between the 4 different types of sea turtle hatchlings that you can find in Florida. On the far left is a loggerhead, and then a sort of odd-shaped one is what they call a hawksbill. Then the green one is the third one, and then the really big one on the far right is a leatherback. So I really, I just call them all turtles. I really can't differentiate them, but now the leatherback sort of stands out. So I just wanted to pass that on to you if you happen to see some hatching. This is the time of year they're hatching. So from now on. All pontoon rentals 50% off. I put this picture now. I do want to mention this. When we get rough water and everything, rough weather, these pontoon boats, especially the rentals, I would just pass on along. You be very careful if you have friends coming down on vacation and they want to rent a pontoon boat. make sure they understand if the weather's rough and all, those can get really hard to handle with that wind blowing them and all. We don't really do a good job on educating people about some of these rental boats, like these big pontoon boats. And I ran across that. I just wanted to, of course, you definitely don't want to take it out in the Gulf. You don't want to do that. But even in the bay system, when a strong wind comes, these thunderstorms out of nowhere, it can really wreak havoc on it, and it can get in dangerous situations. So keep that in mind. All right, our good friends up here in Liberty County, big skeet shoot coming up Saturday, September the 29th. You register at 8 o'clock, and competition starts at 9 o'clock. What a way to spend a good Saturday. Now, it's going to be on the corner of Marnie Rudd Road and Highway 20 in Hosford. You take a 5-man team up there, and it'll be $125 or $25 a person. And then you got practice shots, and it's a great competition. They have lunch plates available at 11 a.m. and Doobie Hayes barbecue pork sandwich box for $5. Man, you can't beat that. That's some great barbecue. Auction food and all that. And the proceeds, right here at the bottom, Liberty Community Health Care. So all that money is going to a good cause, and what a fun thing to do a skeet shoot like that. Okay, our good friend Tess Jolly, I talk about her a lot, our photographer friend with COPA. She has another cover, this is on the cover of Quality Whitetails. You know, the ultimate thing for a photographer is to get the cover picture, and she has numerous ones to her credit, but this is a recent one on Quality Whitetails, and just great photography there. Okay, our good friend, this goes way back with us now. This is, let's see, this is he's only 9 years old. This is Cade Mathis with his baby bonnet-headed shark caught last week in Niceville. This is Mathis family, Dad Kevin Mathis and grandparents Chick and Carla Mathis, and a lot of y'all remember them. They live over in Niceville now, and that's a nice shark right there, Cade Mathis. All right, and don't forget, I got a Saturday, October 6th, about a month away, well, not about 3 weeks. It's going to be a catfish tournament over in Lake Seminole, and the number out there is if you want to copy it right there, the catfish tournament, M&J catfish tournament. Okay, and also the redfish tournament, I was checking my notes and all, the Emerald Coast Redfish tournament will be here September 15th, so we're looking at next week. The big redfish tournament will be here from the Power Pole Florida Pro Redfish Series. Okay, and okay, let's go and take our break now and come back and talk about tree houses. All right, welcome back. Let's add a couple of names to our pickle jar. Jerry Cutchins, April Cutchins, Josie Cutchins, and Brandon Cutchins. They're called the Gator and all. So we'll put them in there. And don't forget, we'll be drawing at the end of the segment, but you can enter any time during the year. And at the end of the year, we'll take all the names out and start back over. And I'll keep all the winners in this cup right here. Can you see all these people right here? All these people, all these people have won. That's a stack of them. And we're going to hopefully have winners for everybody. We'll wait and see. Let's move on with the girl that runs our Facebook page, on Fox 28 Facebook page. She got a question for one of our viewers. Caitlin got a question, and the question was about what was the name of that hog hunting outfit that takes folks hog hunting at night and all. I've got it right here. It's Muddy Rivers Outfitting. Muddy River Outfitting, and it's right here. I just show you some pictures. There's Paul Stokes. He's the owner, the guy right there, and Paul is a good man, an excellent hunter, and this is just something very exciting to do this time of year in the fall. The nights are cooling down, and there's hogs all over the place. You're doing everybody a favor. The farmers, these hogs are eating up their crop big time. And here's a number. I hope you can see it here, but it's called Muddy River Outfitters, and the number is 762-2530, or either 526-6030. You think that shows up okay? Muddy River. Anyway, go online, look that up and all. So be aware of that. Also, I got someone text me about, I know anything about the Crooked Island Sound area being closed off. They said the gate has been locked going into Crooked Island Sound, the old Davis Beach area. They actually closed the gate for a couple of days. I do not know anything about it. Obviously, they have the right to close it because it's reservation as far as federally owned. But it's not a, you know, I haven't got a contact. I don't know if any public relations folks need to let us know something or not. It would help if someone's planning to go for the weekend or something, you know, let us know if it's going to be locked so we can pass it on so they can make alternate plans. So if you know anything about it, anybody works out attend on public information, and a lot of these public information officers are depending so much on social media now to get the word out, they forget there's word of mouth a lot of times, and passing it on TV shows and all is important too. So anyway, also want to talk about tree stands. I mentioned this the other day. Tree stands are a big deal, and I just want to run through some of them. You got two options, and I know this next couple of weeks people are really working on tree stands out in the field. You can get this one right here. This is, when I say two options, you get one factory made. I'm going to show you I'm going to run through a lot of them. These are factory made right here, and that's not a bad price, but you can buy a lot of plywood for $586 plus $50 shipping. So anyway, these are real permanent and all. I would worry about, I've been in these, I've hunted, very comfortable. And you know, if you're in a public area, I'd worry about somebody getting it and all. But if you're on private land, those would be good if you got, you know, $600 for that. And then of course the bales of hay, I showed that before. I think Duck Commander put those out. And I use something like this now, sort of, it's temporary, you can move it around. They don't last a couple of years though, that's a drawback on them. And this is a nice one here. This one right here is around, this is $600 also. And but it's really fancy. Like I say, these are factory made, and they're more permanent. So think about it, factory made or making one yourself. This is almost $800, but that's a really nice stand there, you know, on a good wide base. And it's, you know, really, you know, it's one of the traits you see about all of them. That was like small windows and everything. Now we'll get into some homemade, some homemade stands if you can't afford one of those big ones. I'm not recommending any of these ladder stands at all. I certainly will not get in a ladder stand like this, but some folks feel comfortable and secure. So one of the things about this, I just flat out don't like it. And I would think long and hard before we make something like that, but I just want to show you what some people are doing. A pallet deer stand. Now, it's got 4 legs on it. Now, personally, I would take the ladder right there and sort of make an angle, sort of like steps, if you got time to do that. Because a lot of times you can fall back trying to get everything in. But using a pallet with the wood and all for a stand, again, those small windows, that keeps you warm, but most of all, it helps keep your scent inside of the boxed area. Okay? And this shows the frame. I like this one. It shows the sort of frame. Now, to me, this is sort of overbuilt. It's got almost too many 2x4 studs in it. But anyway, you can see how they frame it up. This is how you keep the windows like that. And if you enjoy building, I love to build stuff. And if you've got time and lumber, you can do something like this. You can get a good floor. And a lot of people are now, like me, you build them on site. Some people build them at home and haul them out there. And some people build them on site. You do it either way. This one, just a round one, I don't particularly like. That's just too much cutting and angles and all for me. I like to keep everything square. But that's another option on something you might want to do, with just a good pressed wood there. And just a box stand. This is a Jamie's stand, and see the steps I'm talking about? Those steps are a lot more safe to come in and out of a stand, especially coming down at night and sort of leaning over. Notice also where the braces on the bottom, you got those 2x4 braces that sort of hold everything steady and all. And a lot of people go in those windows. Okay, and this is, I want to show this one because it actually has a stage area. You climb up for the first stage instead of climbing way up there on one time. And that's not a bad idea on a really tall stand. Whether or not your terrain calls for a tall stand, of course, that's a decision you have to make. But if you do, that's a good way to do it, have like a staging area. And this is a fancy one here, but I love those steps. Again, a lot safer than climbing up a ladder. And I found myself, I'm going to these kind of steps now. But notice how, I don't know if you have to trim it out this good and all, but this is really good. That's a good deer stand right there, excellent deer stand. About around the time. Wood tower, this is simple right here. I would have the roof overhanging more, have a more of an overhanging roof and all to protect it. But again, and the windows, you can just put some cloth around the windows and all. And I like this one here, but again, that's the same one sitting up on a platform. And the ladder's in the back, okay? And Stay away from these, okay? Stay away from these if you can. I just would not recommend those. All right, enough on those deer stands, and we'll talk more about it. I may go out tomorrow and work on. I get fired up and looking at stuff like that, and all. So it's just important that we get out and get out in the woods and do deer stand and all. There's some way to do it. All right, now let's get ready for our Tarpon Rock Seafood. We're going to do our giveaway, and it'll be a $20 gift certificate first, and then a big red snapper. All right. I always stir them up out of habit, okay? All right, and the winner of the $20 gift certificate is going to be Bill Davis. Bill Davis got $20 here. And the winner of the big red snapper, we're going to get down to Tarpon Rock soon and talk to those guys, see what's going on. It's going to be Easton Foran from Telosa. Good folks up there in Liberty County, Easton Foran. All right, that family's been up there a good while. I know a lot of those folks up that way. Let's take our final break, and we'll be right back with our famous Friday fishing forecast. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at the fishing. I can't get my screen horizontal, so bear with us. We're going to do vertical today. It's like I lock in it. We don't have time to unlock it, so I'll get it fixed after the show, trust me. It's hard to do a report on a week we've had this week. It's just, all the guys have stayed inshore. The recreational guys haven't gone out. You get all this wind and get all this rain. The big thing we've had is this rain, and it really does affect it, the freshwater and saltwater. But now, ironically, inland, all you folks inland, we really didn't get that much rain. So your outdoor activities around Lake Seminole, Lake Talquin, up on Ocklawaha River and all, it shouldn't change a bit. So freshwater fishing should be really good. All in those areas I mentioned earlier, even the old Dead Lakes area up in there, they got some rain there, but it should be settled down by tomorrow anyway. So the fly fishing this time of year, late summer, early fall fly fishing is really getting into, really warming up. September is one of the best months to go fly fishing on the freshwater river system, okay? Your last hatching of all the different insects and all. I wrote down several notes here. The bass fishing in Sand Hill Pond, you saw that 15.2-pound bass caught out of Sand Hill Ponds. And that bass fishing should be good all this whole time here. So make sure you take advantage of that. The Choctawhatchee, I've been over there twice this past week, and I'm mainly just looking the area over. The Choctawhatchee River is a little high, but it's muddy. Of course, it's always muddy. But the Choctawhatchee River is holding some good catfish. I can promise you, catfishing is going to be good on the Choctawhatchee River. Okay, inshore in Choctawhatchee Bay, they've been really surprised that the redfish bite has been good, and the trout bite has been good. That was before the weather. Came in and messed things up. This was last weekend. The pier bite has been really strong. Near shore, the king mackerel, they really caught some nice kings last weekend off of Destin and off of Seagrove Beach area. The chicken dolphin, a lot of chicken dolphin, the baby mahi, about that size, excellent eating. It's been a good run on those. The triggerfish has been steady, hadn't been bad, hadn't been great. It's been a steady bite on triggerfish. Amberjack, it's been strong. Amberjack bite's been strong. But the big bite, coming back this way now, the big bite has been the mangrove snapper in the bay system. A lot of folks have had good luck on that. Let's see. And actually, on mangrove snapper, you can go to different places and all. You can almost wade fish. In fact, the guy, Tyler McKay, sent some pictures. He caught his limit, and his buddy caught his limit of mangrove by just wading out and fishing for the mangrove snapper. Now let's go quickly to St. Joe Bay, because some of y'all are still want to go scalloping out there. And here's Black's Island here, right there in the center of the page. Again, I do want to mention the closed area. It should be right in this area right here. If you're going scalloping this weekend, most people have been getting scallops up in this area right here. This is pretty well picked over. The problem with scalloping down in this area, you have different kinds of grass in St. Joe Bay. And that really tall, what we call tall eel grass, is about that high. It's really tough scalloping. It really is. It's not as much fun, especially for a kid and all. They feel like they're in a jungle. And all. I remember taking the kids when they were little. They just didn't like it. It's sort of creepy, is what they called it. But the reason this area right here is so popular because it's got smaller grass, you know, when I say smaller, more spread out, you got more sand showing and everything. So the campers come in here, and if you see anybody, one thing that's hurt us this year too in the population, there's been a double dipping. I mentioned that before, people getting a limit. If they're camping out down there, they're getting a limit in the morning, coming in at noon, and going back out in the afternoon and getting another limit. They did that really strong that first week or two off these places. So if you see that happening, let the FWC know about it. They'll do something about it, okay? But Blacks Island, the channels now, if I was going to scallop this weekend, I'd get down here off these channels right through here. I wouldn't get in the channel, but I'll check out this area right in here. It'll be southwest of Blacks Island there, okay? And also, like I said, when you go, don't just get scallop, you can catch it. You can get flounder, you can get mullet, you can go early and fish. There are all kind of ways to do it and all. So keep that in mind. Carabel, I haven't heard from Sea Quarters. I know they got pounded with all the rain they've had and all, but next week we'll get a report from Sea Quarters, and also we'll get some pier reports of getting into fall fishing. Remember, fall run, we're getting ready to start that fall run. The kings are starting to come back through. In October, we're going to have those pompano coming through. Spanish mackerel will be in the bay. So we've got a lot of good things coming up. I did want to mention one other thing too. Really, I put an asterisk by this. Really check out your fishing time this time of year. I'm really, in the summertime, I'm always more flexible, but really check out your fishing times and try to go during your fishing times if you can, you know, schedule around your work and the people coming with you and everything. That's really important you do that. Okay, so fishing times, and also the early and the late. If you don't have a choice any time to go early and go late. But now this tide here is so important. But on freshwater, especially early fishing in freshwater, whether it be a pond, up in that slough or whatever, is just critical that you do that. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you all so much for watching Panhandle Outdoors this week. We always appreciate the viewership. Big week next weekend. Enjoy your great outdoors this weekend. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.